What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the INFC podcast, a member of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. You can find us on all things podcasting, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast fix from. You'll find us there. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at INFC. We're also on LinkedIn. Need to start promoting that a little bit more. But yeah, honestly, man, I just moved in. You guys know. Last recording, I told you guys I wasn't sure when we were going to have a new episode because of the fact that of just me moving in general. So I'm now moved in, settled-ish. I'm going to be interested in how the audio is going to sound for here just because, there's no carpet on the floor. So I'm going to be intrigued how everything sounds when we get to that point. But yeah, so just a lot of moving parts, living on my own now. For you guys that want to know a little bit about me, yes, I was living with my mom and my brother. So I was living with them since I got out of the Marine Corps, obviously going to school, working job from job, nothing like concrete enough to eventually move out, which was always going to be the goal. I know a lot of people have this stigma of the person, if someone still lives with their parents, like they must be a bum, they must not really, they really have no ambition, things like that. They're a mama's boy. I am a mama's boy. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But I think it's all, honestly, there's nothing wrong with living with your parents. I think, it can be good and bad. The good thing I would say is if there's a reason why you're living with your parents, are you working towards something where you're eventually going to move out, which is kind of my whole spiel. I was trying to eventually move out. My goal was to get a stable job to the point where I could move out, and because I want to live my own life. The bad side is obviously the people that regress, right? The people that aren't progressing. That's the real core problem. So, but for my case, it really was just me finding a concrete job that I could have the freedom and balance where I could, be on my own. And here we are. I got promoted at the job that I'm at right now. Got promoted to assistant manager, and because of that, now I moved up north of Houston, which it's like a 30-minute drive. 30 minutes with no traffic. With traffic, it could be bad. It could be rough. But yeah, so I am moved in, got everything, Wi-Fi is going, all that stuff is going now. So should be back to regular schedule program, which is funny enough because this is essentially the episode before the last episode of the season. But there will be one more episode because obviously we do a World Cup preview episode. So if you guys don't know, we obviously take we take off the summer. We take a break during the summer. We take a break during the wintertime. But yeah, the summer we take a break. So funny enough, I took 2 weeks off only to then be off for the summer. But me and Edward will still do a World Cup preview episode. So that's usually what we do whenever there's cup competitions, international cup. We'll do a preview and then we'll do a recap as soon as the tournament's over. So there won't be an episode after the group stage just because of time consumption. So if you do want constant, because I'm still going to be making content, and so if you guys do want to see what my thoughts on the World Cup as the World Cup progresses, Belly Up Sports will be having a World Cup Super Show. I will be very much involved with that. So yeah, your boy's gonna be busy. Also, I'll probably be doing some stuff with Goals TV as well during the World Cup. So I am going to be very much busy with World Cup coverage. It's just the podcast still takes the break. So I learned this lesson from when we first started the podcast that we were very much getting burnt out. And honestly, during the summer, there's just really not much to talk about besides MLS stuff and transfer rumors. And so I honestly thought, let's take the summer off, come back strong and start previewing the season, and then take that break during the winter time. So that is the way we're doing it, just so you guys know. So just some quick housekeeping just to get it over with. This episode we will be previewing this episode we will be reacting to the U.S. men's national team roster. It has been leaked out, even though, by the time this episode drops, they have already done the 3 hour long announcement of the national team. But they already leaked out the roster, so we're gonna react to the roster leak. If it's different from, if it is at all different from the announcement, I'll probably do an update on it. But it looks like very much that this is the rosters going to the 2026 World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. So we'll react to that. We'll recap Liga MX because Liga MX, the final, has happened this season. Also, by the way, hopefully everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. Obviously, I know a lot of people celebrate Memorial Day weekend. They think of it as just another holiday, but in reality, while it is a holiday, it means something to veterans, and so I just want to emphasize that. But yeah, so recap the Liga MX final. So believe right now it's Cruz Azul and Pumas. They're currently tied still on the aggregate, which always the best thing to happen before a final. So especially with the 2-leg system that Liga MX does. But we'll recap the final and then also preview the Champions League final. So that's pretty much it. It's going to be me this episode. There's nobody else coming on. So once again, I'm still kind of getting back into the groove of things, which is kind of funny because we're only recording at least three more consecutive episodes. And then there won't be another episode till we recap the World Cup. So yeah, this is it. I almost contemplated on whether or not I should even have these last 2 episodes, but I was like, we still got to do it. I mean, we still got to recap Champions League. We still got to recap the leagues. So next episode, Edward will be on. We will recap the Champions League final, and we will also recap the season. So we'll highlight the champions of the Power 5 leagues, and just take it from there. So with all that being, especially because I believe all the seasons are done now. Liga MX, La Liga finished their season. Premier League, I believe they're going into their final days, or this should be the final match. Anyways, what a yawn. But yeah, so it will be a recap of the season, recap of the final, and then the next episode will be a preview of the 2026 World Cup. But honestly, it won't be consecutive because I believe we still have some time before World Cup kicks off. So we'll probably, or I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure, but it'll be posted when it gets posted. Just be ready for that. So we're guaranteed 4 more episodes, and that is going to be obviously this episode, next week's episode. Whenever we do the World Cup preview, whenever the World Cup preview drops, we'll probably end up having it drop like the day before the World Cup, or at least week of the World Cup matches starting, or the week before. I don't know, but you get what I mean. And then recapping the World Cup. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, this episode is going to be all me, just so you guys know. I was thinking about trying to do something interesting for the Champions League final, but haven't really been able to communicate with most of the guys at Goals. I haven't done anything with Goals TV in a while, and I feel really bad because I have a lot of fun doing Wake Up MLS. And I'm sure some trolls think that I'm like hiding from all the Vancouver Whitecaps fans that got the alleged Save the Caps people, which that's far from the truth. I can give 2 shits about that. Sorry for cussing Kelsey. But yeah, so this episode, U.S. men's national team roster leak reaction, potentially an update if it's actually different from what it's actually going to be. Liga MX final recap and Champions League preview because that's happening this weekend. So a lot to talk about. So we'll hopefully have a good episode for you guys. So sit back, relax. We're going to take a break and then we'll go right into the U.S. men's national team roster.
Looking for sports coverage with attitude? Welcome to Belly Up Sports, where the takes are bold, the jokes are reckless, and no topic is off limits. From articles that'll make you rethink your fandom to podcasts that sound like your group chat during a playoff game, Belly Up Sports delivers the sports content you actually want. So dish the bland and head to bellyupsports.com and follow Belly Up Sports on all socials. Belly Up Sports, we're not just a network, we're the voice of the fans.
All right, so undeniably the funniest thing to ever be able to happen for the U.S. men's national team, which is just quintessential U.S. men's national team, right? Just continue pointing and laughing at what's going on with the U.S. men's national team is the vibe that I'm getting from all this. But yeah, U.S. men's national team, their roster got leaked. Someone leaked the roster out. That's a funny thing, just in general, just because if you're U.S. Soccer, you're gonna try to find out who that leak is, because U.S. Soccer was planning on having a 3-hour spectacle of announcing the U.S. men's national team. Which some of you guys may think that's crazy. That sounds stupid. They've been doing this for quite some time. I have never watched it, mainly because I just don't have the time for it. But I figure it's going to be right up there in the alley with how I feel about the World Cup drawing as well. It's really the most overhyped thing ever, but people do it anyways, and people watch it just to have a reaction for every reason. But yeah. Also, apparently, FIFA got scared from everybody hating on the song, that the World Cup song with Jelly Roll. I'm sure they're still gonna play that song, but Shakira is also coming out with a World Cup song. So either FIFA got scared, got bullied, which I guess people do have a voice or what. But yeah. But anyways, that's not really important to this. But yeah, so the U.S. men's national team on Tuesday. So by the time this episode drops, they've already done it. But on Tuesday, they're going to do this whole spectacle of announcing the players, of who's going to be playing on that 26-man roster for the FIFA World Cup. Well, they're still going to probably do it. It's just that now everybody kind of already knows who's going and who's not going. And I mean, honestly, if you're a player, you probably were already informed if you're going to be on the World Cup roster. But this is going to be the roster. But oh shoot, let me see. I should have prepared better. I am so sorry, but honestly, I should have prepared better, because what I should be doing as well is having the roster that I predicted for the World Cup also here, so I can see how close I was to predicting the rosters. Obviously, the formation and all that's not something I'm going to be able to predict, but still, I think that this would be not a bad idea to be looking into if I did call it. And I mean, I didn't go too overboard with this, so we'll see. But we'll start things off with goalkeepers. They are calling up 3 goalkeepers. I thought it was hilarious that Tim Howard was talking about the roster build, the 26-man roster setup. Per FIFA, you're supposed to have 3 goalkeepers. Yes, that third goalkeeper may seem like a waste of a player spot, and maybe some people could make arguments for it. But the reality is, you need to have 3 goalkeepers. You just need to have 3 goalkeepers on your roster. That's per FIFA. That is a guarantee. You need to have 3 goalkeepers on your team. So the 3 goalkeepers. So I'm gonna. Okay, I won't. I might do a side to side thing. I might be in the middle of this video, when we're watching the video version. So my goalkeepers was Matt Freese from New York City FC, Matt Turner from New England Revolution, and Chris Brady from the Chicago Fire. The U.S. men's national team, at least from the leaked one, it said Chris Brady of Chicago Fire, Matt Freese, and Matt Turner. So good first start for me on that one for goalkeepers. I think, honestly, I don't think this was really going to be that hard. I don't think that there's any goalkeepers abroad right now that is really garnering any attention, unless you wanted to go get Diego Cochin. But I don't necessarily think that that's important. Diego Cochin, I mean, honestly, we'll get to defenders, but even then, I just don't see it. But yeah, Chris Brady playing pretty well at Chicago Fire right now. Chicago Fire looking like something. But and then Matt Freese, obviously, like I said, since he took over at goalkeeper during the Gold Cup, he's looked solid. And I mean, am I saying he's the best keeper? No, but right now he's got the spot, and until someone jumps over him, I don't see anyone being able to overcome it. And then Matt Turner, I honestly, more and more, I'm just not really wanting him to be the goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national team. He's not a bad goalkeeper. I think, obviously, shot-stopping ability is there. But he's just not great with his feet. And I don't know if Pochettino likes using goalkeepers that are good with his feet, but I think I don't know, man. I'm just more set with Matt Freese. I'm fine with Matt Freese, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I'm fine with Matt Freese. That's all. I guess moral of the story. I'm fine with Matt Freese. But yeah, so goalkeepers 3 for 3, not bad. Already, I got so far. I'm looking good right now. Defenders, this might be a little bit different. So for defenders, I'm gonna let me see. Okay, I think this is gonna help. All right, so defenders. This is going to be harder just because of the fact when I did my list, I actually separated the wing backs and the center backs, and they actually have them all included. So they have 10 defenders. I did also put technically 10 defenders. So, all right, Max Arfson. I have Max Arfson, the Columbus Crew as well. Sergino Dest. Yeah, I got Sergino Dest. Alex Freeman. I do have Alex Freeman. Mark McKenzie. I do have Mark McKenzie. Tim Ream. Got old man Tim Ream. He's right there. Always going to be there. Chris Richards. Chris Richards there. I know he got hit with an injury, but it looks like he's going to be fine. So that's a good thing. Chris Richards. Anthony Robinson Jedi. Got Jedi on there. Miles Robinson at FC Cincinnati. He's on the roster. Look at that. Let me see. Joe Scally. Got Joe Scally there. And the final defender is Austin Trusty, and I have Austin Trusty on my. So I'm hitting 100 right now. I'm perfect right now. I got the defenders, the wing backs, and center backs. I got it predicted well. I'm really proud of myself on that one. I think we're gonna get to the point where I'm about to be wrong pretty soon, though. All right, so midfielders. So they have 4 midfielders because this is kind of more CM. They did a different group with like attacking midfielders / wingers. So we'll kind of. I think I'll just have to combine also all just with the forwards as well. So they are bringing 4 midfielders, 6 attacking midfielders / wingers, and 3 strikers. So that is what we're doing. So we're gonna start off with the midfield. So we're gonna have Tyler Adams. So Tyler Adams, I have Tyler Adams. We got Sebastian Berhalter. I did not put Sebastian Berhalter on this one, so that is interesting. Once again, I mean, is he playing well for Vancouver? Probably, definitely. I would say, obviously, Vancouver is still looking like a pretty strong team, or still looking like a good side for MLS, despite the rumors of them moving. But I mean, Pochettino likes Sebastian Berhalter, so I can see why he would bring him in. I wonder who's the guy that I predicted that got taken out for him. Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie's there. Obviously, a safe pick. Christian Roldan. I didn't have Christian Roldan on my roster either. So Sebastian Berhalter and Christian Roldan are both on this one. I think Tanner Tessman. Yeah, Tanner Tessman is the midfielder that I was picking. And I think Johnny Cardoso got hit with an injury. And to be fair, Johnny Cardoso has not looked great with the U.S. men's national team, but the injury probably is the reason why he's not going to be available for the team. So no Johnny Cardoso, no Tanner Tessman for the U.S. men's national team, at least in the midfield. Attacking midfielders, all right, so we got Brendan Aronson. Let me see, did I put Brendan Aronson in here? I did not put Brendan Aronson in here. That is interesting. Okay, Brendan Aronson. Christian Pulisic. I do have Christian Pulisic here. Gio Reyna. I did put Gio Reyna on here. Gio Reyna is on my list. Malik Tillman. Malik Tillman's right there. Tim Weah, safe pick. Alejandro Zendejas. I did not think that this was going to happen. I did not think Alejandro Zendejas was even going to be called up, but here he is. I'm really happy for him. This is what he should have been called up for Gold Cup. He is probably one of the more informed players when it comes to non-European based players of the U.S. men's national team. So I'm really happy for him. Hopefully he gets some minutes. So that's great for him. All right, so forwards, Florian Balogun, called it. Ricardo Pepi. I know people were scared that Ricardo Pepi was going to get called up. I knew for a fact he was going to get called up. I wasn't afraid of that issue. Ricardo Pepi was saying there's a reason why they didn't play him. I told you. I said it a lot. I was like, the reason why they put Christian Pulisic out there at the false 9 for that Portugal game was to put him in his place. Hey, you want to be the fucking hero? Sorry for cussing, because you want to be the hero so bad. Here you go. Be the hero. Go do it. And obviously, hopefully put him in his place because Christian Pulisic doesn't look that great right now. But anyways, But Ricardo Pepi and Haji Wright is the last guy. So the players that from the attacking positions, let me see. So as far as midfield, Johnny Cardoso, Tanner Tessman, and Diego Luna. So I had 3 wrong. 3 guys I had wrong because Brandon Aronson, I did not have him. I didn't have Christian Roldan, and I didn't have Sebastian Berhalter. So yeah. So honestly, man, being off by 23 out of 26, that's not bad. That's not a bad calculation there. What's that grade? What's that grade? Let me see. It was like 23 out of 26. That's not bad at all. That's not a bad prediction. At least I would say. Let me see. 23 divided by 26. Yeah, that's like an 88, man. Like, phew. Yeah. Not bad at all. I'm happy for that. I'm actually happy with this. I don't think it changes too much with as far as my formation picks. I think because I really didn't have. I mean, I said Johnny Cardoso, Tyler Adams, but like I think I don't think it really changes as much as like how I view that the formation is gonna look. Just the only thing that's like the big loss is just Johnny Cardoso. But aside from that, you have essentially a pretty good team. This is not a bad roster. Some people are gonna find a way to make this something negative, but I don't. There's not a player on here that I would disagree with. I mean, some people are not gonna like Christian Roldan, but I think for Pochettino, he has worked for him better. It has worked for him. So as far as he played, his versatility helps, and then just his role. I do think if Johnny Cardoso was healthy, this would be a different story. The Tanner Tessman thing, I don't know what happened. Crazy enough, we don't have from Middlesbrough. What's the player from Middlesbrough? From Middlesbrough, who is it? Aiden Morris. So no Aiden Morris, but I think he didn't have necessarily a great friendly when they were playing it back in Atlanta. So, but the thing is, people like I think for the people that are going to be mad at Berhalter and Roldan, they're not going to start. They're going to be coming off the bench, and maybe you might be a little bit more terrified about that thought. Brendan Aronson, I think is interesting. I think when you're coming down to those final picks, when you're looking at Diego Luna, when you're looking at Brendan Aronson, I think that's literally where those are the like almost a like for like player. I'm not gonna say like exactly like for like, but I'm saying what they bring for you, and that is a high energy guy that could come in. And I think Brendan Aronson, no offense to Diego Luna, just gives you so much more. Like work rate for Brendan Aronson. Say what you want about Brendan Aronson. If you don't like Brendan Aronson, you don't like Brendan Aronson. I'm not here to try to get you on the Brendan Aronson bandwagon, but his work rate is really high. I think that's one thing that I would give Brendan Aronson, if anything, is that he does have a very high work rate. And I think that's not a bad thing. I think, once again, you don't always have to be the most talented player, but if you have a good work rate, and I think Brendan Aronson does, I think that edged him out over Diego Luna. And I maybe had said something along the lines of that. I think with Brendan Aronson, once again, what he gives you in work rate, I think kind of just pushed him over with Diego Luna. I think with Diego Luna, his last calls, aside from the Gold Cup, I mean, he disappeared in the final, but like he just hasn't been able to really replicate what he did in the Gold Cup. So yeah, and I mean, once again, when you look at the other Gold Cup, like yeah, he stood out in the Gold Cup, but I mean, besides Malik Tillman, there was none besides Malik Tillman and Chris Richards, and I guess now Matt Freese, there wasn't guys that you would expect to see on the U.S. men's national team roster for the World Cup. So I don't really think it's not as devastating as people may make it seem. I think once again, Diego Luna has his whole life ahead of him. He still has plenty of time. He'll get an opportunity. I think right now though his clock is ticking. He needs to go test himself out in Europe, because if he doesn't go now, he stays in the MLS. Like I just don't want him to be another Landon Donovan. And that's honestly my concern for him. But yeah, no, he's so I don't really have any issues with this team. I mean, aside from if we had Johnny Cardoso healthy, he should be on this roster, but obviously he did get injured, so he's just not available for the U.S. men's national team. So I think that this is actually not a bad roster. I don't think this is the worst. I don't think this it's not the worst because it's damn near the roster I predicted. It's damn near the same roster I predicted. So I don't think that necessarily. I mean, like I said, I was off by 3 guys. So that's not a bad roster. I don't think it's bad. I think you can work with this team. Like, is this going to win the World Cup? No, and it's the U.S. They're not going to win the World Cup. The U.S. needs to do a lot of things before they ever win a World Cup. But, like, especially with the competition, you're just not at the level of Spain. You're not at the level of Brazil. Even with all the headaches that's going on with Brazil, you're not at the level of Argentina. You're not at the level of France. You're not at the level, like, you know, that's just the reality. There's the people that, there's the S tier, there's the C, the B, the A tier, the B tier, and the U.S. is right there on the C tier. I honestly do believe they're like in that, in a goal in CONCACAF perspective. Yes, they're S tier because they have all the resources and all that. They're right there with Mexico. Mexico might be a little bit ahead of them just because of the fact that they actually give a shit about these CONCACAF competitions. Sorry for cussing, Kelsey, but USA and when in CONCACAF, yes, they're a big fish in a small pond. But when you put that fish that they think that they're a big fish, they put them in that bigger pond, which is the rest of the world. You just realize that you're not that big of a fish. So I think for this team, it's not bad. Once again, my expectations is getting out of the group stage, getting into and getting past that round of 32. If they can do that, if they can surpass the round of 32, I'm a happy camper. And so I do think you have a good team. I mean, I think you have your core players, and I think you can work with this. This isn't a bad roster. And I mean, still, my prediction for the starting lineup is going to be Matt Freese at goalkeeper. Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports. And it just depends what you want to do with a 3 in back, or you want 3 in the back, or you want to do 4 in the back. But this team does offer you a lot of options, especially where some of these wingers can play wing back. Some of these wing backs, some of these fullbacks can play wing back. So you have a lot of versatility here. You can really do no wrong. And so, well, you can do wrong. But I do think this is actually not a bad roster for the U.S. men's national team. I think this is a really good roster. So, good job. Good job, Pochettino. And then obviously, if there's an update, I'll probably put it somewhere around here. Here's going to be the update if it isn't that wasn't in fact the roster, but there we go. But all right, we're going to go and take a break, and then we'll go right into recapping the Liga MX final. Fight and win! All right, guys. So I'm actually gonna re-record the Champions League. So even though right now this is Liga MX, but it just so you guys know, I did record the Champions League preview. I just didn't like how it went, and also I feel like I was tweaking out because like I got paranoid. I thought someone was knocking on my door, and clearly they weren't. So we're gonna redo that one. But that's just a quick update. And as of right now, it's Monday. So tomorrow will be Tuesday. So if there is an update with the U.S. men's national team call up, we'll discuss it if it's needed. But all right, man. Cruz Azul, for the 10th time, are now champions of Liga MX. They have won the Clausura in a really, I wouldn't say bizarre season for Liga MX. I think with the preparation for the World Cup, I just think it's bizarre how the outrage that came from what was already expected. And if you guys don't know, and this was when Fader and Honda came on to talk about Liga MX. The big thing that was being talked about was that there was going to be in May that a lot of the Mexican national team players are going to be pulled to be part of a camp in preparation for the World Cup. This was not shocking by any means, and at least I thought it wouldn't be shocking, but I guess when it came down to it, a lot of people were not happy about that decision. And obviously Chivas de Guadalajara being specifically probably the more frustrated one, because a lot of their players, like Hormiga and the goalkeeper, they were going to get called up to that camp, and then they were going to be without their best players. And Chivas de Guadalajara really had a good season, and obviously because of that. But I don't know. I don't understand the outrage. I know Fútbol Asada went on a whole rant about it, but like, this was announced before the competition started. Like, that's the whole thing with me. Like, how are you? What's so shocking about this? What's so, like, you knew this was coming. If you wanted to argue about it, if you wanted to, file your grievances from it, why didn't you file it when they told you this was happening? When they told you this was coming, not now where, oh shoot, we're in the playoffs, I'm losing my best players because they got to go get ready for the World Cup. Like, to me, the timing was just anything else but poor. And I mean, some people could come at me for that, but that's the truth. Like, these guys were expected to go. Like, that was going to happen regardless. The fact that you weren't prepared accordingly, because once again, Liga MX, that's the reason why they allowed 2 additional extranjeros, foreign players, on the roster, because they knew that you were going to be without your best players if you were going to, with your best Mexican players. And so yeah, but here we are. We got to the final, and it was between Cruz Azul and Pumas, which obviously Cruz Azul finished in third and Pumas finished in first place. So a really interesting setup, because honestly, I thought America would be able to beat Pumas, and I mean, I wasn't completely wrong. And the only reason why I say I wasn't completely wrong was because Pumas only got moved on to the next round because of the fact of the aggregate rule. And if you guys aren't familiar with the aggregate goal rule, in general, the aggregate rule is obviously whoever has the lead between the 2 games. So when you ever play like 2 fixture matches in the playoffs, they combine the scores from both matches. So, and that's how they decide who advances to the next round. And the big thing, at least for me, was of the fact that, like, in Liga MX, their rule is if it is tied on, normally when it's tied on aggregate, they go to extra time and then they go to penalties if they need be to decide who's going to be the winner. But in Liga MX, what they do is just the higher seed advances automatically. So once again, it just doesn't matter. So a 3-3 draw with Club America, 6-6 draw to be honest. With Club America, they benefited from that. Also, to be fair, same thing happened with Chivas and Tigres. They also tied on aggregate. If it wasn't just for the fact of that aggregate rule, once again, we'd probably be talking about a different tale. And then in the semifinals, you can argue again for Pumas. They once again moved on because of that aggregate rule. So in the quarterfinal and the semifinal, Pumas only moved up because of the aggregate rule. They didn't have to go to extra time with Club America. They didn't have to go extra time with Pachuca. 2 teams that I would feel you would not want to be in that kind of situation against. But because there's this aggregate rule, you benefit from it. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to take that away from them. This isn't me trying to say that Pumas was a terrible team, and they're not. They had a great season. They had a good season. They were very active in the transfer window. They got the players that they needed to have a strong team for this season. And we are where we are there in the final. And on the other hand, Cruz Azul, they outright won other games, right? They beat Atlas. They beat Atlas on aggregate, 4-2. Then Chivas de Guadalajara, they beat Chivas de Guadalajara 4-3 on aggregate. So they, once again, they were very much the better team. Leg 1 of the final, it was a 0-0 draw, which obviously if you're Pumas, this is what you want. Honestly, in general, if you're not a fan of any of these Liga MX teams and just want to watch a good final, this was the way it should have gone, because now you're going into that second leg and it's still very much in play. Like, still, if it was a 1-goal deficit as well, it's still much in play versus a team getting blown out, and then like either they can somehow return the blowout or something. But yeah, but so we were there. So this is what the situation was. We're in this final, and everything pointed towards Pumas, right? It should be pointing towards Pumas. As a matter of fact, they got the opening goal. But that's pretty much it at that point. So once again, I just want to point out the opening goal was from Robert Morales from Pumas. So that so everything seemed like it was going to go kind of going in the favor of Pumas. Once again, you have your home crowd around you. Everything points once again that you are doing well. You're doing the right things. You were one of the better teams. Obviously, you finished first place, and but after that, in the second half, that's when things started kind of shifting. In the 53rd minute, there was an own goal by Ruben Duarte, and you can tell how frustrated he was when he gave up that goal. And then one of the more unfortunate things that happened in this game, which was Coca Carrasquilla getting injured. And it was a really bad injury on top of that. I mean, like, this was where you don't know, man. I really don't know what's going to happen for him. He was very much in the point of tears. Obviously, him missing out on playing the rest of the match to finish the final out is one thing, but on top of that, like, this might cause him to not be available for Panama in the World Cup, and he's a very important player to Panama. So that's a big loss right there. But you keep going on through the match, and then so it's 1-1, and then unfortunately you have a very, very careless red card by Uriel Antuna, which, by the way, I just want to point this out. Antuna is on pace. If Antuna at this point, like, I would just try to play for every Liga MX team. Like, I don't know who all he's played for yet, but I'm certain that he's at least played for a good amount of teams, like in Liga MX. But yeah, he had a very unfortunate red card, man. Very, very unfortunate red card. And I think that took a lot out of at least Pumas. I mean, yeah, for Pumas' sake. I mean, it took a lot of him out of it because of that. But yeah, so I just want to point out this. So Uriel Antuna, originally from Santos' academy, he goes to Manchester City. He gets loaned out to FC Groningen, but part of that Manchester City system. He goes to LA Galaxy. Obviously, he was part of that LA Galaxy team. Then gets sent back to Man City. Goes to Chivas. Then from Chivas, he goes to Cruz Azul. And then he goes to Tigres, and now he's at Pumas. Like I said, man, at this point, this guy might as well just try to play for every team in Liga MX. It's crazy where his trajectory was going to be at, or at least where everybody expected him to be at. I mean, the kid was, touted to be in the Manchester City academy, and now look where he's at. And on top of that, now a dumb red card, put his cleats on the back of a player's leg, and he's out of the game. And that, being down a man is not easy, especially with the way Cruz Azul was moving with the ball. And Carlos Rendondi just puts it in the back of the net. Cruz Azul are now for the 10th time champions of Liga MX, which is a very big moment for them. It sucks for Pumas, man. Pumas, I think, is also a team that's really I feel like has been doing a lot of hard work to try to get back on top of Liga MX. But it seems like they're just going to have to wait another season for that to happen. But congratulations, Cruz Azul. I mean, since the podcast started, they have already won. They've already won a few. So congrats to them, and we'll see how it all goes. But obviously now they're time to rest and prepare for the 2026 World Cup. All in all, man, I wouldn't say it was a great final. It was probably pretty boring in some aspect, but yeah, it wasn't bad. At least it wasn't a terrible one. I was able to watch the game. I enjoyed it, but yeah, this was definitely not up there as one of the best matches we've ever seen here in the Liga MX, but I digress on that one. But all right, we're going to go take a break, and then we'll go right into previewing the Champions League final.
Que mira, bobo.
All right, guys. I mean, it's the Champions League final. It is finally here. We are going to find out who's going to be the winners, the champions of Europe. And we have two phenomenal storylines. Or if you hate Arsenal, you don't even want to hear that storyline. But we got PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, which I believe at this point they won Liga. Let's just double check. But it has been a close battle to declare the supremacy of. Yeah, it's over. It's over. I don't know why I even assumed, but yeah. So PSG is champions. So the champions of France, Paris Saint-Germain, and the champions of England, Arsenal. We'll get to Arsenal. We'll get to Arsenal. Don't worry about that. But Paris Saint-Germain. Well, let's start things off. I'll say May 30th. That is the day of the final. It's going to be played in the Puskás Arena in Hungary. And on top of that, it is a storyline between the defending Champions League. I fucking hate defending. Sorry for cussing. I hate saying defending champions. But last year's Champions League winner, PSG, who won their first Champions League, by the way, last season, taking on Arsenal in hopes of a team that's in hopes of winning their first Champions League as well. So this is an amazing bout. A team that has won it last year for the first time versus a team that's hoping to win it for the first time. But we'll get right into it, man. You know what? I'll start things off with PSG. PSG are very much, once again, winners of last year, and are looking to attempt a back-to-back Champions League victory, something that hasn't been done since Real Madrid's three-peat. Yes, I am going to go ahead and flex that Real Madrid once again has the three-peat, and I will never shut the fuck up about it ever again. So if you guys were hoping for me not to fucking talk about it, sorry for Cousin Kelsey, it's going to fucking happen. Real Madrid, three-peat, probably will never be done again unless Real Madrid does it again. So fucking suck it. Sorry for Cousin Kelsey, and sorry for flipping the bird watching the video version. But yeah, man, obviously a very impressive journey in that last one, right? Because PSG barely made it into the play-in round, right, or the playoff round. Barely made it into that one. Beat the living daylights out of Lille, and then beats Liverpool, and just goes on and eventually does beat Arsenal. Arsenal was in their pathway as well. We should probably point that out. That was this is also a rematch of that semifinal between PSG and Arsenal. So also something to take note. But yeah, this was a very, very amazing storyline. Obviously, Luis Enrique, everything that he's gone through with, the loss of his daughter, him. Also, PSG, this is the first season that they were without Mbappe, right? In last year. And they went out, they finished better than they ever thought they could finish. And all it took was to get rid of Kylian Mbappe. Go figure. And here they are, back here. But what's even more impressive about, not only are they on the cusp of a back-to-back Champions League victory, they're also doing this with the fewest amount of rests versus the rest of the world. And the reason why I say that is because when PSG won the Champions League last year, they were also then packing their bags and going to the United States to play in the FIFA Club World Cup. So they were in the FIFA, not only were they competing in the FIFA Club World Cup, but they were in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. So this team went as far as humanly possible, and probably the team that had the least amount of rest, which is super commendable. You got to talk about, when you think about other professional sports teams, if you're for Americans' perspective, right? Prime example, Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is what, 162 game season, right? 162. That's just the regular season. 162 games. You start from late March, early April, and then cutoff is normally September. If you make it to playoffs, then you're playing October baseball. Maybe possibly even playing till November, early November. If needed, because of depending on how far you go in the World Series. Take that into consideration. So imagine if a team, you win all the way to the World Series, win or loss, you finish around the same time as the other team does. You have what? November, December, January, and then February, it's back to spring training. That's 3 months. And I mean, if you think of what PSG, you win the Champions League.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
You get you win it in late May, early June probably. You got June, July, August. August you're back and getting ready. Well, honestly, that's when you're doing your kind of like your summer tour and all that, but you're kind of going into your preseason and all that. But now your preseason wasn't like your typical preseason. No, this was a full legitimate tournament that could do a lot of things for you, and winning the first ever FIFA Club World Cup. Obviously, that didn't happen. Chelsea ended up winning. You know how that turned out for them. But still, so this team is coming off on the fewest amount of rest than the rest of everybody besides Chelsea. But clearly, once again, look where Chelsea's at. So Chelsea probably got more exhausted than PSG was. But it just tells you about how Luis Enrique approaches with this team. How they play, how they perform is an embodiment of how Luis Enrique has developed this team, using the youth, rotating the team correctly, and just once again, mentality of this team has, you can always go back to that video of Luis Enrique going off on Kylian Mbappe, talking about how he wants to be Michael Jordan so bad. But that's what it kind of is. Like, that's the mentality that he brought in, and that's why this team is, once again, winners of France, and also on the cusp of a repeat in the Champions League. So it's an embodiment of what this team has done since moving on from Kylian Mbappe, but it's also what Luis Enrique has done as a manager of this team. So it's a lot of great things, a lot of impressiveness, a lot of things that are impressive about this PSG team that honestly makes them feel like they're the most fitting to win the Champions League, right? Just of also the gauntlet that they've gone through, and having to go toe to toe with Bayern Munich of all teams to get to this final, and really good show out too as well. But that's PSG. Arsenal. Once again, Arsenal has never won the Champions League. The only time they've been in the final was in 2006, where they played against Barcelona. And obviously, like I said, they haven't won the Champions League, so you kind of know who won that game. This is a interesting year for Arsenal. They have not played the most sexiest of football, I will say that, but it is an effective style of football, and they've really, I think Mikel Arteta has felt the pressure. The hot seat was very much on him because, I never shied away from it. Many people that are Arsenal supporters didn't shy away from it. He had to win something. He had to win something this year, and it looked like it wasn't looking good when he gets eliminated in the Carabao Cup. It didn't look good when he got eliminated in the FA Cup. Because once again, like this fan base wants to see this team go into full fruition under what Mikel Arteta has done. Mikel Arteta, like I said, as much as critical as I've been, he's done a lot of great things for Arsenal. When he took over, the team was not ideal. And when he was there with Aubameyang really did help alleviate a lot of the shortcomings of what that team had, and that's the reason why they had their FA Cup victory. But, since then, they moved on from players. They try to be more tactical with who they were going to bring in. They go after and get Declan Rice. They spend a lot of money. I'll be frank. They spend a lot of money, but respectively so. Trial and error. This year, the big sign, they needed to go get a 9, and they go get Victor Gyökeres. Whether you like him or not, whether you think he's overrated, whether you think he's underrated, or I don't know if there's anybody that thinks he's underrated, but all the things that you want to say, and maybe not as productive as you wanted him to be, but still this team found ways to win. And, it's all based off what Mikel Arteta is, which is the structure, building on defense, and just everybody being pissed off at them for set pieces. They played very terroristic football, but you know what? It was effective. It got them what they needed, which was winning the Premier League, and now on the cusp of winning a double. The first time, their first double, not only their first double, but their first chance at winning. Well, an opportunity to win their first ever Champions League. So, ending a 22-year drought with the Premier League, and now have a chance to, for the first time ever, win the Champions League. So this is really a lot of implications for Arsenal. I think Arsenal fans are really happy right now just with the Premier League alone. But if they're able to achieve the Champions League glory, it just takes them over to the stratosphere. And you know, it's crazy when you look at this team, when you look at these managers, Luis Enrique and Mikel Arteta, both Barcelona guys that came through Barcelona at some point in their careers, and so two different types of manager approaches, but nonetheless still a very good one. And obviously this is not the first time they faced off against each other. Like I said, they played against each other. They had a match against. They had two legs against each other in the semifinal last year. Obviously, it ended with PSG winning, and this was also the first time PSG ever beat Arsenal in the Champions League, or historically has ever. This is the first time PSG was ever beaten Arsenal. So, with all that being said, this is a making of hopefully a good final. I say that because obviously we thought that Inter Milan would have put up a good fight for Arsenal, for PSG, and clearly we were wrong on that one. So I don't want to take too much sips of the Kool-Aid, if you will. But obviously the theme is best attack versus best defense. PSG obviously the better attack. Arsenal clearly the best defense. PSG scored 44 goals in this competition, while Arsenal only conceded 6. Also, you should point out that Arsenal is also technically undefeated. They're undefeated. They're undefeated in the Champions League. So, which that will just make things even more impressive for this Arsenal side if they're able to win the Champions League and then do it being undefeated. This is just going to make this Arsenal team. It's like a historical team, but a team that's going to, like, people are always going to shit on this team. Like, I guarantee you, people are going to shit on this Arsenal side because of the fact that they just didn't look great doing it. If that makes any sense. But it's the battle of best defense versus best attack. Obviously, we saw that last year, and PSG very much showed why they were the best attack. Against Inter Milan, which good defense, but maybe an aging defense. Maybe this defense that Arsenal has, a very much younger team. You have William Saliba, you have of course Gabriel, and a lot of options on the wing back, and then of course, to me, a really important piece for Arsenal in the defensive side of things is Declan Rice. Man, he's gonna be expected to keep this team even keel and keep the ball moving for Arsenal. But PSG's midfield, which I think you could argue is probably one of the better midfield. Probably, I don't want to say the best midfield in the world, but you could definitely make a very good argument for PSG's midfield. With the rotation and the possession, that could honestly be, and honestly, that's what really dictated a lot in last year's final. That midfield was very good at keeping the ball, getting the ball to their big guys in Ousmane Dembele and Desiree Doué and Kvaratskhelia. That's why these guys were able to punish Inter Milan. So it's going to be that midfield. It's really going to be that midfield battle, seeing what Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, Eberiche Eze, what these guys can do versus what PSG is going to do, which once again, PSG has proven. Arsenal, while they have done some good things, once again, in this competition, we just haven't seen it yet, but we'll see what happens there. The wide area, the wide game is going to be pretty big, right? You're looking at Bukayo Saka, you're looking at your star boy to help you get through, and whoever is on that other side is going to be very important for Arsenal. And then, of course, on PSG, I mean, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. Is Desiree Doué healthy? I'm sure he is, but let me just double check. Is he going to be good to go? Did he play last match? Did he play? I hope he played. Let me see. Healthy. This is great podcasting. Healthy. Is he healthy? I guess he's currently dinged up. Maybe we see him in the final. Maybe we don't. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Ousmane Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. That's going to be two really big focal points for PSG. Once again, look at Bukayo Saka and whoever's on the other side to help at least provide some width to get things going in the attack. And that's going to be important also on the fullbacks. Nuno Mendes and Hakimi, how they're going to fare against Bukayo Saka. And at the same time, the wing backs for Arsenal, how long can you lock in on Dembele and Kvaratskhelia? That's going to be super important. And like I said, Luis Enrique and Mikel Arteta, this is going to be the first Champions League final between two Spanish managers. I can't believe that's even possible. Both are heavily influenced once again by Barcelona, and both guys coming through with Barcelona once upon a time. Once again, Luis Enrique favors relentless pressing and fluid attacking rotations. You could tell by the way this team plays that that's exactly what he embodies. And Arteta leans more towards defensive organization, control build-up, and set-piece efficiency. We know about the set pieces, man. But key players to watch, Ousmane Dembele, man. Once again, he's going to be that spark. He's going to be the guy that everybody looks at when it comes down to it, when something needs to be done. It's going to be Dembele. Kvaratskhelia, the dude is just a whole different level of special, man. Great against 1v1. Love everything I just love watching Kvaratskhelia, by the way. Hakimi, his overlapping, his transition play, not only what he does defensively, but just what he does in the attack. He's going to be a massive, massive problem and might dictate a lot about this match. And then Vitinha. Vitinha is going to be a big one, man. Once again, that midfield is going to dictate the rhythm for PSG. And if he's having a good game, I can guarantee you PSG is going to have a fantastic game. So that's going to be very important. Arsenal, once again, is Declan Rice. I think he's going to be that anchor in the midfield. He's got to keep things even keel. He's got to help minimize as much mistakes as possible because that PSG attack, when they see blood in the water, they will go full send on it. Bukayo Saka, I mean, once again, it's a star boy. You want to see him perform. You want to see him excel. He's got to have a standout performance, and when the pressure comes on, he has to be in that be up for that moment. Martin Odegaard, he's got to be at his best. This is where we need to see him be like the captain and everything like that, because he is going to be so important to moving that ball, getting the ball to his front three, and getting that ball in good spaces and good opportunities for them to score. Because you can only depend on set pieces for so long. You're going to have to outright score on PSG if you want to win. And most importantly, William Saliba. You can even put Gabriel in there. They're two very important. That center back pairing is going to be very busy. They're going to be super busy in this game, especially with the way that this PSG team likes to attack. It's going to be super huge if they can keep this team quiet and give the attack as much opportunities as possible to score on this PSG. So very big things. Once again, more things to be just to know. Once again, if Arsenal wins this, they're going undefeated in the Champions League. You're talking about a team, and you can hate the way they're playing. You can despise what they're playing. You can call it haram ball. You can call it terroristic football. You can call it what you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's working. At the end of the day, it's working for them. And if you didn't want them to be there, you should have stopped them. You should have stopped them. But here they are. They're in the final. They're winners of the Premier League, doing this type of stuff. It's only bad when it's not working. It's working now, man. PSG, obviously, once again, just the amount of time that they've had from the World Cup, the Club World Cup final, to getting ready in the season. Very quiet start for PSG, but still, nonetheless, on top of Ligue 1 and on the verge of a back-to-back. This is huge. And, I mean, it's going to be amazing. Apparently, opening ceremony, the Killers are going to be performing. I'm excited because I love the Killers. Give me some Mr. Brightside there. And I mean, Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup, man. We'll see what all transpires, man. I'm excited. Obviously, everyone knows I have a soft spot for Arsenal. I'm not sugarcoating that. I'm very straight up about it. I do love Arsenal. I was happy for them. I was happy for them winning the Prem, and I can't wait to see what they could do, man, here in this final. If they can complete the double, man, this is going to be a historic year. Yes, Arsenal fan TV is going to be super obnoxious. Every Arsenal fan, but you know what? As much as you want to hate on it, Arsenal fans have every right to be very, very annoying. They have every right to be, because 22 years without winning a trophy. Well, 22 years without winning the Prem. 22 years. Mikel Arteta got them back in the top of the Premier League. Mikel Arteta got them in the Champions League final. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So yeah, they're not going to shut the fuck up. Sorry for cussing. They're not going to shut the fuck up. You're not going to hear the end of it until the start of the next season. So it is what it is, man. But PSG is also going to be a massive threat, man. Either way, I think both teams are very fitting to be champions. But we'll see what happens, man. We're going to go ahead and take a break and then go right into Players of the Week.
I love soccer, Peggy.
All right, guys. Players of the Week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site, app, however you want to use it. Has a very simple grading system using numbers and colors. If it's super red and very low, then that means keep scrolling. You're going to find a better deal elsewhere, man. If it's super high and very green, that means you're getting a great deal for the seats. Go ahead and enjoy your event. Buy these tickets. Me and Edward, we use SeatGeek for a lot of the live events that we go to, from concerts to live sporting events. It really helps us covers for all the necessities that we need, at least for when it comes to going to our events. Now, if you guys aren't sold just yet, for first-time users, if you guys use that code BellyUpSports at checkout, you'll save $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek Life's an event. We have the tickets. My player of the week is Harry Kane, who scored a hat-trick in their 3-0 victory in the DFB Pokal. So Harry Kane gets a double for Bayern Munich. So big ups for Harry Kane. Ever since he moved to Bayern Munich, finally gained a chance to feel some success and a lot of confidence that he can take into the World Cup. So that's my player, Harry Kane. Edward, his player of the week is Paulo Dybala, who scored nothing. He actually didn't score a goal. He got 2 assists in AS Roma's 2-0 victory against Hellas Verona. A very important victory for Roma because they are now back in the back in the Champions League. So big moment for them. Big ups for them. We'll be talking more about the Serie A when we get there. But yes, great season for Roma. Happy for them. We'll see how it all transpires for them, man. But that is Players of the Week. And games to watch this weekend. I mean, do I have to tell you? Do I have to tell you guys? Do I really have to sit here and tell you what to watch this weekend? If I have to, I'll say it, but it's the Champions League final. Champions League final, man. PSG, Arsenal. We're either going to have a back-to-back champion or we're going to have a first-time champion. This is going to be huge over there in Hungary, man. I can't wait. We're also going to start kicking things off with these international friendlies. We have Scotland and Curacao, Ecuador and Saudi Arabia, South Korea and Trinidad and Tobago, and Mexico taking on Australia. Once again, they've been also a Triple C final. CONCACAF Champions Cup, Toluca versus Tigres. We'll find out who will be the champion of CONCACAF this season. But yeah, some good matches, of course. USA versus Senegal. Once again, everything's about preparation for the World Cup. So we'll see what happens, man. We know who's in the USA team now. So let's get to it. But yeah. But we're gonna go ahead and take one more break, and then we'll end this show and play a little give and go.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys. So, Give and Go is an awesome card game, man. It is a good conversation starter. All those things, man. It's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, except there's nothing dirty about it. But it is all about. There's some like little stupid challenges, like flicking your ear, having to go around, do a celebration, things like that. But on top of that, there's also some cool kind of conversation pieces where you get to speak to fellow fans about the beautiful game, man. I've really have enjoyed playing this game, man. It's been kind of cool going through like just memories and stuff of my life through the game. So I love it, man. Every card tells a story. What's yours? Give and Go is the ultimate soccer card game packed with trivia, challenges, and conversation starters that bring fans together. With 3 game-changing categories, it's designed to get everyone talking, laughing, and reliving their favorite footy moments on the couch, at the pub, or wherever the game takes you. Wherever you go, Give and Go. All right, guys, so I just shuffled the deck. I'm going to pull 3 cards because I always do 3 cards mainly because sometimes I either have repeated it or it's something that I can't do. Who is your soccer celebrity crush? That is an interesting one. Who is your soccer celebrity crush? Well, no, I'm not gonna. Well, the one everyone will probably say is Alex Morgan. I do think Alex Morgan is a very beautiful woman. I'm not gonna take that away from her. It's not my pick. For the longest, I had a crush on Megan Klingenberg. She played for the Dash and then was part of that. She was part of the U.S. Women's National Team when. So yeah, I had a big crush on Megan Klingenberg. Honestly, I found her more attractive when she had the short hair. That's kind of funny when I look back at that now. But yeah, so yeah, that's probably the only thing. That would be like, I guess, early on. But let me see. But also apparently, also the fact that she's also a lesbian, so that's probably also another reason why I can't really talk much about it. But yeah, I always have a thing for tomboys, so that's kind of like, yeah. So, but if I had to say currently, and obviously that you can thank my time at the Houston Dynamo, where I got to work with some of the Dash players. Maria Sanchez, I had a massive crush on. Well, not a massive crush, but I always thought Maria Sanchez was very pretty. She's also very chill. She's really cool. Also very talented, by the way. She's amazing with the guitar. Has a really great singing voice, by the way. So she's really cool. And then another one that first of all, just like as soon as you see her, it's just like, wow, she's beautiful. And that's Barbara Olivieri. She currently plays for Boston Legacy now, but she used to play for the Dash. Also really cool. Honestly, very chill person. Yes, I just said crush, and I like, if she ever like listens to this podcast, which I doubt she would. If she ever listens to this, like, don't think it's awkward. Don't think it's weird. I genuinely think you're a great person. Also, you're very much younger than me, and that's why I don't want to like. It's just think you're very beautiful. Also, very cool person, very chill person, very awesome to talk to. So, those 2 people that I would probably say, at least like currently active players. But I did used to have a huge crush on Megan Klingenberg. So yeah, there's that. But also Megan Klingenberg is very much a lesbian. But anyways, that is the episode, man. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Belly Up Sports, man. Once again, guys, check out their website, bellyupsports.com. Lots of articles that are being constantly written. Check them out on social media. There lots of stuff being posted. Obviously, if you guys have been keeping up with Belly Up Sports, you know that we've been doing World Cup nation profiles. We're getting into the nitty gritty right now. Right now, you're just hearing my voice. The second half, you're going to hear Kelsey. Kelsey's going to do his. But also, you'll see me talk about. Well, there's probably going to be a video pretty soon of me, preparing, talking about the Champions League Final. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, check out bellysports.com. Check them out on YouTube because that's how you get the full video version of this episode on, anyways. So go check that out. Also, big shout out to Goals TV, man. They're constantly working and grinding. Obviously, I haven't been available for them as of recently, but I'm hoping to get back into the grind with them. They're lots of fun. So shout out to Wake Up MLS, man. I know you guys have been keeping it down for me while I'm gone, but I'll be back eventually, man. So don't worry about that. And oh man, dude, John Rivera, man, John, dude, I saw that you have you brought your show back on, man. Really proud of you. Maybe I'll come on. Maybe if you ever want me to come on, I'll gladly come on. But yeah, man. So really appreciate it, man. But yeah, check out Goals TV, GOZ.TV on Instagram and GOZ_TV on the X. And just check out their YouTube channel, man. Lots of some cool stuff over there as well. Lots of growing stuff over there on Goals, man. Go ahead and check it out. You'll probably see me there. Not only on Wake Up MLS, but just on some other stuff that they're doing over there as well. But yeah, and of course, can't talk about the show without Roosevelt Spencer, man. If you listen to the audio versions, he's the one that provides the beats, man. We love Spencer so much. He is the namesake of our Player of the Year award because of how much we value him. So, with all that being said, man, he's very important to us and we love him. So, with all that being said, man, thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week for our recap of Champions League, recap of the leagues, and of the Power 5 leagues, to be more specific. And then after that, whenever we do our World Cup preview episode. So be ready for that. So like I said, we're guaranteed 3 more episodes, which will be the recap episode, World Cup preview, and then World Cup recap. And then obviously we'll go into the next season. So with all that being said, man, thank you so much for listening. Take care, guys.